Hey everyone, and welcome. I am so incredibly glad you're here today. Look, if you've ever found yourself totally tangled up trying to figure out the right way to talk about actions and their results in English, well, you are in exactly the right place. In this explainer, we're going to completely demystify conditional sentences. We'll break them down into such simple, logical building blocks that you'll be using them with absolute confidence in no time. So let's just dive right in. Here's our quick game plan for today. First, what actually are conditionals? Second, we'll look at the zero conditional. Third, the first conditional. Then we'll cover a few super important grammar rules. And finally, we're going to finish up with a little practice because, practice makes perfect. All right, part one. What are conditionals? Simply put, a conditional sentence just describes a result that completely depends on a certain condition being met. Honestly, it's basically just cause and effect. It's like a domino falling. It always has two parts, which we call clauses. The first part is the if clause. This sets up your condition. The second part is the main clause, and that tells us the result. If this happens, then that happens. It really is that straightforward. Moving right along to part two, the zero conditional. So the absolute most crucial thing to remember here is that the zero conditional is all about absolute certainty. We use this to talk about things that are generally true all the time. Stuff like scientific laws, hardcore facts, or strict rules. It literally means that 100% of the time when the condition happens, the result happens, no exceptions. And to build this, it's super easy. You just use the present simple tense in the if clause and the present simple tense in the result clause. Zero doubt, zero changes in tense. Let me give you an example. If you freeze water, it becomes solid. Look at those verbs for a second. Freeze is present simple, becomes is present simple. Because this is a 100% certain, undeniable scientific fact, we just use the present simple for both sides. It is a guaranteed result every single time. Okay, let's switch gears a bit for part three, the first conditional. Now, notice the major shift in probability here. We use the first conditional when we're talking about future situations that we believe are real, or at least very possible. It is not 100% guaranteed like our zero conditional was, but it's highly likely. Think like a 50 to 90% chance. And because we're looking at a possible future result, the structure has to change slightly. The condition actually stays in the present simple, but the result clause, that one uses will plus the base verb. Here is a perfect everyday example. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll go to the beach. Notice the shift happening here. The condition, doesn't rain, is sitting right there in the present simple tense, but the result relies entirely on tomorrow, the future. So we use will, which of course is short for we will go to the beach. We use this exact structure all the time for making spontaneous decisions or talking about likely weekend plans. So let's just compare these two rules side by side really quick. If you want to say something happens as a general, undeniable rule, use the zero conditional. Like, if the temperature drops to 0 degrees, it snows. General scientific fact. But if you're talking about what might happen in your specific town tomorrow, you'd switch to the first conditional. If the temperature drops to 0 degrees, it will snow. See the difference there? One is a general truth, the other is a specific possible future event. All right, let's get into part four, a couple of important grammar rules to polish things up. The really great thing about conditional clauses is that you can actually swap their order around without changing the meaning of the sentence at all. But heads up, it does change your punctuation. Here is your golden rule for commas. If you start your sentence with the if clause, boom, you must put a comma right before the result. For instance, if ice cream gets warm, it melts. But if you flip that around and put the result first, you just drop the comma entirely. Ice cream melts if it gets warm. Simple as that. No comma needed. Oh, and here's another really fantastic little shortcut. Because zero conditionals describe general truths that happen literally all the time, you can seamlessly swap out the word if for the word when, and the meaning stays exactly the same. So saying if the sun goes down, it gets dark means the exact same thing as when the sun goes down, it gets dark. Pretty cool, right? Now, what about the first conditional? Well, you aren't just boxed into using the word will every single time. You can actually swap out will for other modal verbs to change exactly how certain your result is. If you want to show a lower possibility, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, you can say, if you buy a lottery ticket, you might win. If you're giving someone a strict rule or instruction, you'd say, if you ride a motorbike, you must wear a helmet. And for advice or strong expectation, if she orders it now, it should arrive. It just gives you so much incredible flexibility in how you express yourself. And finally, part 5, practice makes perfect. Let's put all this awesome new knowledge to the test. I'm going to show you a sentence, and I want you to actively choose the right verb tense. Seriously, say it out loud to your screen if you can. Are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, here is our first question. Fill in the blank. If we heat water, it boil, would boil, or boils. Take a close look at the condition. If we heat water. What tense is that? I'll give you a few seconds to lock in your answer. And the answer is boils. If we heat water, it boils. Why? Well, because this is a zero conditional. Heating water to a boil is a 100% true scientific fact, so both the condition and the result need to stay firmly in the present simple tense. Really great job if you got that one. Let's try another one. If a dog sees a stranger, it barks or would bark. Again, look at that first part. If a dog sees, I'm going to pause right here so you can make your choice. Got it? The correct answer is barks. If a dog sees a stranger, it barks. Just exactly like the last one, this is treated as a general truth about animal behavior, meaning it's a classic zero conditional. Present simple in, present simple out. Okay, let's step it up a notch for this last one. Look really closely here. Tomorrow is a public holiday. We'll go to the beach if it blank. And the verb phrase you need to use is not rain. Look for the big clue in the first half of the sentence. Will go. Take a few seconds. And the answer is, we'll go to the beach if it does not or doesn't rain. Fantastic work if you caught that tricky one. That clue, will go, tells us immediately that this is a first conditional sentence describing a highly possible future event. Therefore, the if clause condition has to be in the present simple tense, if it doesn't rain. Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer today. But I want to leave you with a real-life application using a first conditional right here, right now. If you practice conditionals every day, how will your English improve? Think about that possible future result. You have totally mastered the building blocks today, from those 100% factual zero conditionals to the highly probable first conditionals. Now, the condition is set. It's completely up to you to make the result happen. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next explainer.